Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to unpack a genuinely fascinating and honestly pretty profound philosophy from a text called The Laws of Hope. Specifically, we're exploring this powerful concept of moving from darkness to light. It's basically a structured look at how we process hardship, how we find our purpose, and ultimately how we can illuminate the world around us. So if you love clear, actionable philosophy, you are absolutely in the right place. Here's our roadmap for today. First, the laws of hope, then the trouble of abundant choice. After that, trials as soul polishing, focus on the present, removing mental obstacles, and finally, shining your light. Section 1. The laws of hope, fulfilling your mission of light. And this brilliantly illustrates our focus today. We're looking at Chapter 5 of this work, which was originally published on January 1st, 2004. The text suggests a really bold idea that absolutely everyone, no matter what their circumstances might be, has a specific mission to illuminate the darkness. Looking at the source material across its translations reminds us that this was a philosophy that has crossed cultural boundaries to deliver a truly universal message about resilience. But before we can actually get to the solutions, we kind of have to understand the core problem. So ask yourself, why do people suffer in an affluent society? It's a massive paradox, isn't it? We live in an era of totally unprecedented wealth, technology, and comfort, and yet anxiety and suffering seem higher than ever. Why is that? Keep that question right in the back of your mind as we move forward. Section 2, the trouble of abundant choice, the modern dilemma. So the author presents a premise that might seem a little counterintuitive at first glance. I mean, we usually associate suffering with not having enough, right? Scarcity. But the text argues that in our wealthy modern society, suffering often stems from the exact opposite. Modern anxiety is fueled by the paralyzing abundance of choices. And man, is that relatable. When you have endless paths you can take, endless career options, lifestyles, just endless decisions every single day, it doesn't necessarily create freedom. Often it just creates confusion. It creates this intense fear of making the wrong choice. And this overwhelming abundance can leave us feeling totally paralyzed, causing us to sort of lose our way and feel like we're just wandering around in the dark. Section 3, trials as soul polishing, reframing hardship. Now, what's really interesting here is how the text tells us to handle it when we get stuck in that darkness, or say when a sudden illness or a major personal trial hits us. Our default human reaction is almost always negative, for sure. We commonly view hardship as bad luck, immense unfairness, or maybe even some kind of punishment. But the source material imparts this really powerful philosophical reframe. It says hardship is actually a precious, targeted opportunity to polish the soul. Instead of being a victim of the darkness of suffering, the text suggests we can transform it into the very tool used for our spiritual growth. It's like friction, right? Hardship acts as the friction needed to smooth out our rough edges. Section 4. Focus on the present. Actionable steps. Let's move along and see how this builds. Because, it's one thing to philosophize about polishing the soul, but it's a whole other thing to actually do it when you're caught in the middle of a storm. The text gives us 3 very forceful, grounded steps. Accept your current environment, do your absolute best right now, and strengthen your willpower. The underlying message here is a super strong encouragement to just stop looking for grand, sweeping escapes from your problems. Stop waiting for the quote-unquote perfect circumstances. Instead, focus on exerting your absolute maximum effort exactly where you are today. By doing your best in your current reality, you build the willpower you need to actually move forward. Section 5. Removing mental obstacles. Clearing the path. Okay, so once we've begun strengthening our willpower by really focusing on the present, the source material tells us the very next step is to identify and clear out the internal roadblocks that are holding us back. Removing these obstacles involves a few key actions: actively identifying those internal barriers, reframing your negative thoughts, channeling your energy intensely into daily tasks, and consciously viewing challenges as stepping stones. The author uses some really vivid imagery here, essentially telling us that we are clearing the debris from our minds. And why are we clearing all that debris? Well, so that the light inside us can finally shine through unhindered. Section 6. Shining your light, fulfilling your mission. So the crucial point is this. We've navigated the anxiety of abundant choice, we've completely reframed our trials as soul polishing, and we've cleared out our mental debris. The polished soul is now finally ready to do what it was meant to do. I want to lead this central thesis directly from the text because it's just incredibly powerful. Each person must light the lamp of mission in their heart and become a light that illuminates the darkness. That is the ultimate takeaway. It is a profound call to live not just for yourself, but for the sake of the world. It's about taking all that polished wisdom you gained through your own trials and using it to guide others who might still be lost in the dark. I want to leave you with one final question to think about. How will you shine your light exactly where you are today? You don't need to change every single thing about your life to start fulfilling your mission. According to the laws of hope, it starts right now, with your current choices, in your current environment. Take that thought with you, apply this philosophy, and start illuminating the world around you. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.